Good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to race 1 of the 10th season of RP series, brought to you by Racing Pals and myself. I'm Jack, I'll be your commentator for this evening, potentially being joined by another. We are here on a wonderful sunny afternoon at Hungaroring. I hope everyone is enjoying the weekend. We've just had a lovely 24 hours of Daytona in existence. And we are starting the racing season off with a bang. So hopefully some more drivers to join us soon. We have about 6 minutes and 30 seconds left of free practice, and we will bring you wall-to-wall coverage of the qualifying session. As you can see, the format for today's race is a lovely standard 15-minute quali, 60 minutes, 6-0, an hour of racing action, with a single mandatory stop that you only need to take tyres in. If you can get fuel to last you the entire way, you might want to save yourself a few seconds there. Welcome. Hopefully we get some people in the chat. Hey Nara, very nice to see you. That's always good to have people join in. So we have some fan favourites on the track right now, some new faces as well. This is going to be our first event with the new 1.9.6 Kunos BOP. So there are going to be some shake-ups. We're going to see some Nissans flying fast. And the Porsche is looking very racy as well. So, like I said, now we've got 5 minutes 30. Let's go over what's planned for this year. So, we're going to have our monthly endurance races. Still, yesterday, Bathurst, the team of Oosthausen and Uderdorp, the currently 12 Lamborghini, came away with our win overall in that 4 hours of Bathurst race. We have got RP series. We are running this weekly for the next 6 weeks, inclusive of this one. So you're going to see the cars drive on some of our favourite tracks, and we're going to get to have a great story fall out of that. We are going to have our Wednesday nights again, bringing back Race and Chill, our fun night chill Assetto Corsa series, where just by participating you have a chance to line up the next event for us. And something new that we're going to show off in just a second after I give thanks to our Patreons. So that is Jacob, Deep Cuts, Robin Rolling, Alvin Yakatori, Suicidal Cookie, M1LDT, Alexander Georgiov, IJ Gott, and Pierre Moreno. So some of our familiar names, some of our directors in that list. So gonna see some absolute weapons being drawn today. The endurance yesterday was absolutely mental. Was proud enough and lucky enough to be a steward of that. It was pretty good. GT3s only at Bathurst become a bit of a tradition now as our January race to kickstart the year of Racing Pals. Be on the lookout for a announcement for the endurance race scheduled for the 3rd of March. That is 2nd of March. To get that correct is important. Yeah, looks like it is. Yeah, so we've got one penciled in, 2nd of March, but we'll announce what that is soon. That is going to be the off week for the first season of Pacing Pals. So, to go over a little bit of what that's going to be, it is the Craftsman Truck Series trucks on iRacing. Completely free to enter. We are doing a 6-week kind of tester season to see what the numbers are like. It's going to have a European-focused Saturday evening time slot. So East Coast and West Coast viewers, you guys will be able to join in, but it might not be prime time, but prime time for ourselves over here. It's going to have break weeks at the points of our RP endurance races, so not going to be overlapping with that, and it's going to allow you to take some time off for those. But we are going to Charlotte, Phoenix, Daytona, Michigan, Pocono, and Homestead, Miami. So we're going to have a fun, varied, interesting little almost sprint style. These are almost 2/3 distance races. So expect them to last about 90 minutes each. And they're going to be the NASCAR C-Class Trucks on iRacing. This will be a hosted session. If you are interested, head to racing-pals.com. There will give you the redirect to our Discord channel. And if you scroll down, you will find the Pacing Pals iRacing Truck Series information. And that will give you the info of how to sign up and showing off our liveries ready for the season. So that is it for announcements. I'm going to be on my own this evening for a little while. It is a sad, lonely day for that. But hopefully I'll be joined by a special guest later on. Someone that you all know and love. So yeah, absolutely, there are some absolute crazy people, Nara, that will do the endurances on a Saturday and will be straight in for more RP action the day after. So once again, we'll get that little splash screen up for yourselves. I am going to disappear for a minute as our drivers do their final prep, ready for 15 minutes of qualifying at Hungaroring. Be right back. So, welcome back to round 1 of the RP Series Season 10. Qualifying underway now. They are now coming up for their first flying laps. And I did mention that I may be joined by a special guest. That special guest has arrived from a little excursion this afternoon. How are you doing, Husky?
Yeah, apart from my little excursion, I'm doing all right. I think the less said about that, the better. But yeah, it's been interesting.
Very nice. Well, so there is currently an Operation Stop Thomas Jack active. So we have a wonderful number 13, the absolutely gorgeous black, orange, and white Porsche for the small PP racing team, which shouldn't look like that. I think the livery may have broken. I know my other liveries are all currently working, as far as I know.
Always good. I don't know why it's a Stop Thomas Jack mission, though, seeming as the one that he's wanting to stop, and I'm sure a lot of our normal front runners will want to be stopping after his performance both last season and in the pre-season would be Kovacs, really.
Yeah, let's have a look. Yeah, so yeah, it is a Stop Thomas Jack because Kovacs has arrived now. So we are going to get that wonderful, wonderful man who's very rapid around here. What I am going to do is, I believe we should have some custom decals on these cards. So what I'll do is I will get those back down so we can actually see some of these beautiful designs. Hopefully it's not an ACC problem. Hopefully it is a me problem and we can fix that. But time is coming in now for Thomas Jack. A 1:43.76, and we'll start to see those times coming in and hopefully falling over the next 16 minutes. It's good to actually finally get through commentary with yourself, Husky. We've kind of been ships in the passing wind. I've normally covered for yourself whenever it's an unavailability. So let's have a look what we can do as a duo. Speaking of duos, as I said there, Oosthuizen and Uderdorp winning the endurance yesterday. Jurgens Oosthuizen deciding to drive again today. Is a risky choice.
You know what they say though, like once you're in that zone, if you're doing like a race one day and a race the other, your confidence is either going to be sky high or in the floor depending on how it went. And I'm sure for Jurgens it is going to be the former of the two. I'm sure he's just going to be like, yep, let's get back in the car, let's do this, and go off of the momentum that he would have built yesterday.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun race to see what they can do. Thomas Jack, of course, not with us yesterday, unable to compete. Life does unfortunately get in the way, but we should just tell him to get better next time. And hopefully he can do the same thing. But that is absolutely fine by us.
Well, no. In Tom's words, there's an easy fix to this, Jack. Do you know what it is?
Get good.
No, just trail brake more.
Yeah, oh, true. Yeah, a track that he should be very good at, Hungaroring. The track where braking zones are where most of your time is going to get gained. It is kind of a little bit not quite on rails, but it is a relatively simple shape of a track. Many slow and medium speed corners. So entrances and exits more important than raw power.
Well, last time I drove here was in a RP Endurance many months ago, if not, I think either in 2022 or 2023. I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember. But it's crucial for the whole of your lap to make sure that you're getting a good run out of turn 1 and then not digging the car too deep into turn 2, because that is where, at least I was finding in the old gen Porsche that I was in, a lot of time, and getting that wrong just set me on the back foot for the rest of the lap.
Yeah, it can be relatively tricky if you're not super prepared. A track I famously do not like driving, the Hungaroring. It is it does push yourself to your limit, and my limit is not very high. So This track has quite a few too many right hand turns for my driving style, so we'll leave it at that much. Although would like to drive that back straight or for this straight and the two looping corners is a very strange oval. Would be an interesting run.
Yeah, you're more of a NASCAR and oval driver. You see a right hand turn and go, "What is this? I don't know. I'll turn left."
Yeah, well, turning left is going to be the name of the game in Pacing Pals coming up in only a couple of weeks. We have a fun little races before then. Then we will get into turning left. That is going to be a fun, very fun series.
Yeah, it's something. Well, I'm pretty sure. Obviously, apart from maybe a couple of race and chills in the past, the whole oval format, the whole, I believe it's in trucks if I'm not wrong.
Yeah,
But either way, it's something that's completely new to Racing Pals as a mainstay headline of what we offer here, and I'm sure for some of the drivers, it's going to be an interesting change of pace from our normal GTs and classics that we seem to have come so accustomed to in Racing Pals over the last few years.
yeah, it's going to be completely different to almost anything else that has been offered by Racing Pals. We've tried to make it as accessible as possible. The tracks are all, I think there's only one, other than Daytona, there's only one full price track on iRacing on the calendar, and that's Homestead right at the end. We're trying to make it something that people will drive. Trucks are incredibly popular. They're the most popular oval series on iRacing for a reason. And as we see Thomas Jack come across the line and get a 10th quicker almost than Moreno, only just over 1/10 separating Thomas Jack, Pierre Moreno, and Kovacs.
And that's something that I do want to point out. Like, those three, normally, as I was saying in the preseason, for anyone that caught that, we used to seeing Pierre Moreno and Thomas Jack up the front, as well as Kovacs as well. So I think in the race, touch wood, I only have imitation wood next to me, but I'll touch it anyway. I think if they can keep this pace and their race pace is relatively close to each other, we're going to see a great battle for a race win here.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely excellent the whole way around. I think the really nice thing to see as well is, yes, we have our format. I haven't gone over it at the moment, waiting for it to come up a bit more naturally. We have our platinum, silver, and bronze drivers, so the white, silver, and red numbering squares on the cars. And it has been really nice to see some of our silver drivers really fight it out with the platinum drivers on pure pace alone. It's really good to see the growth of some of the drivers like Daniel Scott and Michael Randall in the 18 and 30, or 31 and 18 Porsches respectively. Just to see them grow season on season. It's been excellent to see.
Yeah, we do see this quite a lot in the season, especially for returning drivers at the start, but also newer drivers as well. I've seen over seasons that I've covered, seeing as I've been more or less the mainstay commentator for RP series since I think very, very early seasons. We normally do see the returning drivers come back, having gained experience, confidence, and both of those lead into pace, and then challenging to go up the classes. And even newer drivers, typically at around race 2 or 3, the halfway point, depending on the driver, obviously, start to find more feet to catch up to the platinum as well, which is something that is brilliant in this form of multi-class racing, because you can just see improvement of the drivers throughout races and seasons.
Yeah, it's a great thing as well for people that are maybe slightly newer to driving. They can kind of come in. We have some of our more experienced drivers like Thomas Jack and Robin Moe and the number 3 Nissan. They'll offer coaching sessions. We have our free practices that are constantly open. So if you ever are interested in getting a little bit more serious in your ACC driving, as we start to see the rain start to come down at the end of qualifying, which might mean that these these times are the last things we see. Sorry to come off track there, but that is very important. The track is still green, so potentially some time out there to gain. But looking at the current current deltas, there's only Maudsley in the Bentley is currently up on their time and slipping and slipping. James Andrews is coming off. Kovac's very, very slow. 30 seconds down. Must have had a spin somewhere as well. I think, although we were supposed to have a 15-minute qualifying session, I think nature has kind of given that to us.
Yeah, I think really as they say, when it rains, it pours, and it looks like from the cameras that we get, it is really coming down here. So maybe this is not a chance now for the drivers to get any more qualifying time in, but possibly an idea of what the conditions might be for the race.
Yeah, it's from what we can see, it's looking like it's going to be slightly cloudy. There's a slight chance of rain on race day itself. But if it's anything like this and the track is any kind of slick, it might mess up some practice. A lot of people were practicing. Oh, as we see Thomas Jack go really wide. Yeah, there's no grip out there for a lot of the drivers.
No, it's past that crossover point now, hasn't it, for the slicks to wets? So
yeah, I think
maybe a look at what's coming. But even as they say quite a lot, quite a popular saying, even the weatherman does get it wrong sometimes.
Yeah, some of them might have been expecting to get one or two more quick laps in before rain at the end of qualifying, but yeah, set in with a good 6 minutes to go. Thomas Jack out there probably seeing how far he could potentially push dry tyres if the conditions were to change. Getting that little bit of data, that little bit of feel in the car. Some of the drivers still out here just probably doing the same, some slighter laps on a greasy track. Seeing how it affects them with brake temperatures, tyre pressures, seeing what they're able to do without coming into the pits too early. But yeah, so a lot of cars coming in now. Thomas Jack being an absolute madman, trying to get some extra data for that small PP car. You see him sliding on the AstroTurf, just about gets it back on the track before the grass proper.
I mean, you can just see from that lap as well just how much time there is between a greasy stroke damp track and an optimum running track as well. I mean, 43 was his best, and I think that was a 48 that time around.
Let's have a look. What was his last? Yeah, 48.7. That is 5.5 seconds slower than his optimal. What we'll do is we will check back in a moment, but I am going to try and get these wonderful paint works to be able to spend some time and good hard effort on getting them to look absolutely perfect. I want to make sure that it is working ready for our race starting in about probably just over 5 minutes, 6 minutes. So
Around that, yeah.
I will disappear for a few minutes while I see if I get some technical things worked out, and I'll be back for the end of qualifying to give you the rundown for round 1 of RP Season 10. Hello, folks. So, during that little technical break, as we tried to get back into the servers, seems like Assetto Corsa Competizione server browsers are now down. So, we are actually unable to get you the live stream of the race. We are very sorry and actually really disappointed about that. It looks like it was going to be an absolute bang up race, and we don't actually have a backup way to get into the server. So, we are going to keep the stream running. Keep refreshing that server browser for yourselves, and as soon as we're back up, we will get in, get going, and get your race back. Again, apologies about that. Was really looking forward to sharing this amazing race with you guys, but we will be, monitoring the situation. And if the stream isn't back up by around 8:30, we will we'll call it there. As you won't be able to get much of a race in. Again, deepest apologies for that. Stay with us, and if you see the game starting up, we'll be with you very shortly after that.